Welcome back students. We have started with the business correspondence, and in that we have seen different types of letter. We have seen sales letter, okay. When any organization want to sell their product, we have sales letter, okay. And for example, if you put a particular order of a particular product and if you are not satisfied, then there is another way of correspondence, that is a complaint letter, okay. So any communication in the form of letter is nothing but business correspondence, okay. For example, if you are buying something, if you are ordering something, and if the piece is defective, then you need to communicate with the other organization, but that communication is nothing but a business correspondence, okay. And it should be formal, it should be brief, and it should have all the appropriate grammatical structures as well, okay. It shouldn't be key you are free to use any word, okay. So these are the formats you need to follow. So we have sales letter, after that we have complaint letter, okay. And if the product is defective, and if you have sent a particular complaint letter, then that particular organization needs to give a particular reply, and that reply is nothing but an adjustment letter, okay. So similarly, in last lecture we have seen job offer letter, okay. And once you get a job offer letter, what is your duty? To give a proper reply, proper response. For example, if you happen to go to any interview and if you get a job offer letter, what is your duty? You need to read it, all the service condition, and if you think that this is the right kind of a job that I should go for, then you need to write a particular reply, and that reply should be written in a formal setup, because it is also a form of business correspondence. And when you are replying to that organization, you need to follow a particular format. Here we have taken a one particular format of job offer acceptance letter, okay. For example, if you happen to go to any interview, okay, and you have qualified that interview, and now the organization will send you a particular job offer letter, and once you have understood the service condition, and once you have finalized ki I should go for this job, then you need to write a particular reply to that organization, and that is a job offer acceptance letter, because in a way it can be treated as a legal document. In a way they have the proof ki this candidate is ready and this candidate has given this particular reply, okay. So this is something you should be following while making any communication with the organization, okay. And the layout is same as we have seen. Here you can mention your name, okay. So Mr. and Mrs. full name and your particular address as well, and then to whom this message is conveyed, to whom you are writing this application letter, should be written in the next line, that is the employer name, okay. Then employer address should be written, then the PIN code should be written under that, okay. And then what are the different formats you need to follow when you are framing a particular job acceptance letter. So this is the particular format we have written. The same we can start with the salutation mark, dear sir, okay, because dear, it will create an impression that you are making it formally, okay. So it is less formal as well as polite. So dear sir, Mr. and Mrs., you can mention name as well, okay. And then you can start with the first paragraph ki whatever you have offered, I have accepted it and I would like to work with your organization, okay. So here you can write like this ki it is with a great pleasure, okay. When you start something new, you should have a positive attitude, okay. You should be appreciating the company, and you should be appreciating the efforts as well, and you should show the enthusiasm in first paragraph. This shouldn't be like ki there is no enthusiasm, I agree your terms and condition and I will join. Like this shouldn't be there. You should start like this with it is with a great pleasure that I accept your offer to join the particular employer name. Okay, so you can mention that senior manager of this particular Tata company. Okay, so any company you can mention or any organization here you can mention like this. Okay, and then next is what are the position that particular company is offering you. You can mention as a position senior manager, junior manager, assistant manager. Under supervisor name also you can mention under the supervisor name. So in a way you are just detailing that what kind of job that we have rightly received and we are giving a proper reply. Okay, so the goals you outline for the position are well matched to my abilities and I consider it a privilege to join your team. Okay, so this is something you are not just exaggerating it, but you are showing your enthusiasm. It is indeed a privilege to work with your institution. It is indeed a privilege to work with your company. Okay, so in a way here you are giving a positive signal to the organization. Okay, so as I mentioned that when you write a particular business format, you are not free to write anything. You cannot write a ornamental language as such. You cannot just write exaggerate you cannot just exaggerate the statements. Okay, but it should be brief, because brevity is the soul of communication. As I mentioned when you communicate with any organization or when you communicate formally, it should be brief to the point. Okay, it shouldn't be when you write something, no, it gives a wrong impression. Okay, so you shouldn't be doing this. It should be to the point. And then the second paragraph should be, as we discussed, my annual salary will be, then you can mention the salary as well, because it can be considered as a legal proof. So salary and the medical benefits will commence after 30 days of employment. So as per this service condition, I am ready to accept your organization. And then the last paragraph should be I am thankful for this wonderful opportunity. So you can set up like this Mr. and Mrs. last name you can mention. Even if you don't mention, that is okay. But the last complimentary the last paragraph should be you should be appreciating their efforts. Okay, so thank you for making interview process enjoyable and I look forward to working with you. And then also you can mention the employer name. Even if you don't mention, that is acceptable. Working with you, and I will report on this date, so you can mention the date as well. And then the complimentary clause, you are sincerely, you are faithfully or sincerely. Okay, you can mention again one line as well, thanking you. Okay, so these are the formats you need to follow while framing a job offer acceptance letter. Okay, so all the letters we have seen in business correspondence, these are the powerful way of communication within the organization, and when you are using it, you should be very and to the point when you want to frame a particular letter. Okay, so in this particular unit we have seen a different types of letter. In next session we would start with the last unit. Okay, so officially we are left with only one unit now, and that is language study, and that is very simple. We will cover it up in 2-3 days. Okay, I hope you are watching the videos. And again one more instruction when you are framing a particular letter, there should be a particular sample you can take out from the internet as well, and then the body you can change accordingly. Okay, in examination there can be the question might be asked, this is the particular organization and this organization wants to recruit a particular say senior manager, and then what are the requirements, and accordingly you need to write in examination. Okay, so you should be ready with the one sample letter of all the types that we have discussed in detail. Okay, so accordingly you can prepare.